G'day, Duggar here. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and now is the time to start putting veggies in your tropical veggie garden. This year is a little bit different for me. As my house is up for sale, I'm really not sure how much longer I'm going to be here for. On top of that, the veggies that I've been buying in the supermarket have been really low quality and quite expensive. So I'm really sad that I'm not growing my own veggies at the moment. What I want to do today is plant a selection of seedlings and seeds that are going to take less than 8 weeks before I'll be able to harvest them and start eating some of my own. I've gone through my seeds here and I've got a massive collection of all of which I'd be planting right now if I knew that I was going to spend the whole season here. I've selected a couple of grown seedlings which I'm also going to chuck in the garden right now. I've got some lovely cucumbers here which are quite developed, and they should start growing cucumbers probably within about 4 to 6 weeks here, I'd reckon. I've got some nice basils. Give that a couple of weeks and I'll be pulling leaves off that for dinner. I've got some really well developed dill here. That should only take a couple of weeks before the roots take hold, and I'll be harvesting those as well. To go with those, I've grabbed a few quite well developed lettuce seedlings here, which should shave about 4 weeks off the time that it would take growing these from seed. So along with those seedlings, I've picked out a couple of seeds that I'd like to try as well, which should get me some good results within about 6 to 8 weeks. I've got a couple of radishes, I've got some sweet turnips here, and I'm also going to try some rocket and some Tokyo Bekana cabbage, which should grow quite quickly as well. Alright, enough chit chat. Let's go get a few of these in the ground so I can get them out of the ground. Come on, let's go dig them with Duggar. First job I'm going to do is just prep up the soil a bit. All I'm doing here is just breaking through the crust at the top of the soil and loosening up an inch or so that my seeds have something nice to germinate into. I might make this area here my little lettuce garden. We'll just pop these fellas out, lay them out roughly where I want them, and pop them in. I've left just enough room here as well to throw in a basil or two. I've noticed lately that the basils you buy are being planted quite closely together. If you have too many plants in the one spot, you're going to have too many roots competing for the same nutrients in the same space. So don't be afraid to pull out one or two of the ones that you don't really need. Next up, I'm going to throw a couple of these dill in. Dill don't really need supports, so I'm going to plonk them right here in the middle of the garden. Dill in. And a couple of sweet turnips here that are off to a pretty good start. Right, cucumbers are going to be the next in, and I'll plant them around the outside here as I have a couple of supports up here. That's the wire I'm using to keep my chooks out. Alright, that's all of my developed seedlings in the ground now. Just going to clear a few areas, put a couple more seeds in. I've always found that if you have really good soil, you can plant your veggies quite close together. However, you don't want to go overboard and plant them living on top of each other, as this is really going to affect how they grow later on in life. Right, I'm just going to plant some rocket in here, just a couple of rows. I've got quite a few seeds here, so I'll just sprinkle them in fairly close together. As I'll be harvesting these quite young, it won't really matter that they're growing so close together. Just lightly cover them up, and we'll do another row here as well. rocket, done. In this little area here, I'm going to plant some Tokyo Bekana. It's called a cabbage. It is a brassica wrapper, but I'm going to be harvesting the leaves quite young, so they won't mature, and they'll taste really nice and crunchy, like normal salad leaves. I'm just going to randomly plant a few pink radishes over in these areas here as well. If they sprout really well, I'll thin them out in a week or two's time. G'day buds, how are you mate? Looks like Buddy showed up just to check out my handiwork. As long as the weather stays pretty good, I think that most of these seeds should germinate pretty consistently within about 7 to 10 days. I'm not sure if I'll still be here in a few weeks, but if I am, I'll have some lovely veggies, and if I'm not, someone else is going to get really lucky. Alright, so there you go, a couple of quick options for you to put in your veggie garden now that should yield you some lovely fresh food within 6 to 8 weeks. I've got some basil, I've got dill, I've got sweet turnip, I've got cucumbers, I've got some lettuce, I've got a couple of snap peas, some sweet turnips, some radishes and some rocket. All of these should grow really quickly in the weather that we're having up here in North Queensland right now. Alright, that's it for a Saturday afternoon for me. Time to go inside and watch the Cowboys play. Have a good weekend and enjoy your veggie gardening. Dugger out.